All right, I'm gonna bring you guys in with me. We're working on getting the rest of everything started, but we are moving there. We are getting there. Bring you guys in. We are gonna stop everybody right here. I'm gonna actually go change the light real quick. I'll be right back. Hey man, whatever works. Yeah. All right, you guys. While they're getting ready and while Mop's starting up, I am going to get my little man something to drink. So, you know, watch it. Got a handsome dog there. I'll be back. Get a little man something. Okay. Mari. Got Uchimari here. I forgot to put you on a little thing, bro. Damn it. My bad. Hard to remember everybody, man. I was like trying to remember names. Hurrying up. I should have done it way before. But procrastinate. Great thing. Not really. Sounds good. Don't put that there. Yeah, I can put a mask on too. Mask. I'll wear a raptor mask. Oh no, it's stuck on a cord. Eating your food? Eating your food? Okay. Okay. It says I'm offline. I'm not. I'm online. Right here. See? Mop's over here breaking it down. We getting started. We're waiting for everybody to get going. Mop's gonna do a little introduction here shortly. I think he's gearing up for it. That is this man over there. It takes a minute, Mom. Takes a minute. Dudar, that's my mom. Be nice. Dudar's nice. I don't know what I'm saying. Dudar's a nice guy. He's alright. We kind of like him. We let him hang out. You're always nice. That's a brave claim there, buddy. You ready? Come on, Mop. Write him a note. Watch. Right when I finish doing this, he's gonna be like, let's start. Bro, I'm over here writing this and shit. Right? We got in here an hour ahead of time. We still didn't do it right. Hmm. There you go. Now you guys can hear them.
My dogs now, they're like literally all over the place.
Oh man,
That's awesome, man.
I suck at charades, so I'm dipping out.
no worries, Urchimar. All right, guys.
There
Welcome.
we go. Dudar
to
says hello,
the-
everybody.
hello. As I should probably go hello there, and I'm waiting for the General Kenobi. Somebody should have done that. Blade, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in. So we got a pretty special stream going on today. Oh, we have Toot. How you doing, buddy? Thank you very much for following. Lovely to see you. How's it all going, man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the podcast. So, first of all, before we jump right into it, I'm going to throw a shout out to one of my friends who has been doing amazing work with us so far to kind of get this podcast up and running a little bit better. If you guys are having any kind of issues listening here in our chat, just let us know in the chats. Everybody's streaming on their own sites as well. And I'm joined tonight by TheHellfather. I've got Trench Diver. I've got Who Cares? It's 2017. Uchimari, he's a late guest, but he's more than welcome to join in here.
He's down here.
I've got Weedy Walrus, and I also have Zeno. So everybody's here tonight. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a wee second. My first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shout out a friend of mine who is currently working away on his SoundCloud at the moment. He's really talented and he's helped put together a lot of the music, so I'm going to throw that out there. His name is Nyapa, and he is very, very talented. He's been helping us all out a lot, and we love his work. So thank you very much, Nyapa. Now, I'm gonna let my guests introduce themselves. So I'm gonna start from the last one back to me. So Zeno, you're up first, man. Tell us a wee bit about yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Zeno Demio. I know that a lot of people don't know what that means, but I'm the alien samurai. So
Go take that, man.
I'm a small-time streamer. I enjoy doing what I do, and my channel is simply just about entertaining people, playing video games. And recently, I decided that I think the best for me is like podcasting stuff. It's easier, it's fun, and I get a lot of different. There's a potential for a lot of different people to come in, and Hellfather has been a very good mentor to me. He's an amazing teacher, good fucking friend. So everything I have now, everything that I'm going through, everything that I've done, I owe all my success to him. That
Shit.
Does he get 10%?
No. He just gives me the shout out.
All right, Weedy, you're up next, buddy.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. We got you.
Perfect. My name is Weedy Walrus. I'm a 24-year-old streamer from Colorado. I learned about this place through Mopintop, and he's been really great and a really big pillar of support as far as my streaming journey goes. I like playing all different kinds of games. I'm really passionate about mental health, so I'm excited to talk about that. And
Cool.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Uchimari, do you want to join in?
Oh yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, go for it, man. Tell us.
So, for all the newcomers here, my name's Uchimari. I'm a variety streamer. I do love my horror games. Actually, Trench was just in my stream earlier while I was playing Undermine and chilling to Soundstripe. So, yeah, it's great to be able to meet more of you guys. I've wanted to just meet a lot of you guys from the Underworld Elite community for a while now, and I feel this is one of the better ways to do it, along with meet and greets that the Hellfather's been setting up. I think our next meet and greets, what, the 4th of June?
It's the 5th. I said the 4th, but it's the 5th because the 5th is Saturday.
Here, Hellfather.
It was supposed to...
Hellfather, you got no audio,
Son of a bitch.
Let him finish what he's saying and then let him
The
repeat
5th
it.
is Saturday. It's supposed to be the 5th. I fucked up on the original one. I thought the 4th was Saturday when I looked at my calendar.
Okay, so
Got
the 5th for that.
Okay. Who cares? You're up next, buddy.
Hi everybody. My name is Who Cares or Shati. I actually started streaming in 2017 when I created my account, but I kind of got discouraged and so I stopped. And then I started up again like a few months ago.
Yeah.
I found my way to Discord through IRAM 412. If any of you guys know him,
Yeah.
shout out to him. I never actually had experienced a Discord before. Period. I've heard of it, kind of like seen it, but I never used it for myself up until recently. So
Definitely, cousin, you should do it.
yeah. My streaming channel, I kind of want it to be like your best friend is playing and you're just like watching your best friend. So I just kind of want to like chill vibes for everybody, a space for everybody to come and hang out and just chill and vibe with me because I am sick of playing my games by myself. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No worries, man. French?
Hey, yeah, Trench Diver 670. I go by name is Anthony Cruz. I am a relatively new streamer. Started streaming in November, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I've met amazing people, starting with, besides my close circle. But Dudar was the first person I met who really gave me a hand. So shout out to Dudar. I know you're listening. 1 second, guys. Thank you for the follow. I am Drewski, 91. Thank you. Anyway, no, thanks, brother. So yeah, Dudar gave me a man. He's just
Appreciate you.
You know
Thanks
what?
for
He
coming
didn't
in.
really give me advice. He's just a really good guy to talk to, man.
Thank
he
you,
just
Deathbat. I
pops
appreciate
in,
you coming in. Know exactly who it is.
does his stuff, does his dumb singing, and and then he introduced me fairly recently to the Hellfather, who has tremendously. I'm talking a couple days ago, he's helped me out, gave me a few points, and I've been getting graded and follows like crazy. I'm like, oh gosh, the pressure. But anyway, I like hanging out with people, and Mopintop, you're like the cherry on the ice cream, where I technically play video games to get away from depression, anxiety, and all that stuff, but to actually use my gaming and what I do as a platform, a soapbox, if you will, to actually express how important it is to address this stuff. So thank you, Mopintop.
No worries.
Get
No
the
worries.
fuck out of here.
So I think we're using a lot of power here. I'm gonna ask if somebody is finished in the chat, they might need to jump out for a wee bit and then step back in afterwards. Just because we kind of keep dropping in and out a little bit, but we're good to go. Just can people just keep an eye on it just to make sure that it's all going all right?
We should be good up to 25 people.
We're okay up to 25 people. Cool. Hellfather, you're up next.
Well, yeah, Hellfather. I'm the leader of Underworld Elite. Hang out with a lot of you guys. I mean, channel-wise, I do survival stuff, but I mean, as most of you guys know, I spend a lot of time kind of just being with y'all, helping out where I can, and trying to guide you guys just off of the fuck-ups that I've made and the things that I've learned and stuff. And that's always my big focal point. I've had to kind of rebalance, not solely focusing on a community and actually doing my stream and doing that end of it for myself. So that's kind of been a thing that I've been doing lately, picking up a couple games and started doing some stuff on Facebook as well, I think, too. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm just kind of the guy that hangs out you can talk to and come and chill on the channel with.
Okay. I am Mopintop, Mop for short, on account of the hair, and I am a healthcare professional in the real world. I kind of do a lot. I'm very generalistic. I work in a health centre and several pharmacies as well. So I do a lot of kind of work with lots of different conditions, but I actually have a very special place in my heart for mental health conditions, and that's a little bit why I started this stream. Now, there's two people I want to shout out first of all, just for being able to get me into this. The first person is Iram412. He has been exceptional. He allowed me to be part of his, I think it's now called the Streaming Syndicate, IRAM Streaming Syndicate Discord, and he has been incredibly helpful. The setup of the Discord is very, very good, and it allows people to kind of move very freely, be very kind and generous to each other, and it's just been a really, really good setup. And the other man is just right next to me here, the TheHellfather from the Otherworld Elite. He's also been very helpful, and a lot of the stuff that you saw at the start of this stream, if you were watching mine, has been his very, very handy work. So both of these guys have really kind of helped set the bar for where I'm trying to go with my streams. So I would tune into them both. You learn an awful lot from them, and they're very, very friendly guys as well. So I guess we should probably start with what the podcast is about. And today we are going to be talking about a very kind of somber kind of subject. So we've called this podcast the Depression Conversation. And as you can imagine, we are going to be talking about depression. So we're going to be learning a wee bit about what is depression. We're going to be figuring out what types of things you can expect when you meet somebody who is depressed, and what kind of struggles they're going through, and what types of therapies they're going to be learning from. And I'm fairly sure if there's maybe a few people that are watching tonight as well that could use the advice. So I hope you're out there listening. We've got a whole bunch of resources there as well, and we're going to be absolutely honest, we are going to be touching on suicide as well, and how there should be a lot of awareness like that. Now, people who are in the chats, kind of like jump in, let us know what it is that you're wanting to talk about as well. If you want to get something off your shoulders or off your chest, by all means, you're more than welcome to let us know. We are basically just going to be an open chat for everybody with a couple of kind of talking points to kick us along with. And we'll be here for a bit, so everybody's more than welcome to add in. And I've got all my notes ready to go. Yeah, I did my research. Oh yeah, we're going into this. So, first of all, going to throw a couple of statistics out there, and then we're going to get into a definition of what depression is. Okay, so for all you guys, because you all live in the US anyway, I've taken the statistics from the US kind of board of statistics and whatnot. So 10% of US adults struggle with depression every day. This is just fact. Okay, if you want that in a number, that's 40 million people over the age of 18. It's a lot of people. It's an awful lot of people. It's the leading disability in the world at the moment. It's the leading disability in the world, and it's also very difficult to understand because it's not. It's very difficult to compare it to a standard illness, as you're not able to see the tangible symptoms that are associated with a mental health illness, as opposed to, say, for example, somebody suffering from a thyroid problem or diabetes or asthma, as these are more mechanical issues that we would treat with certain medications. So what exactly is depression? Because we need to kind of differentiate between depression and dissatisfaction, because everybody feels sad and everybody feels upset in the moment at something, but when we speak of depression, it is usually independent of a situation. For example, if you're dissatisfied with something, you take yourself out of that situation into a more positive one and you feel a bit better about it. If you are depressed and severely clinically depressed, then you are going to be in that state of mind independent of the environment and situation you put yourself in. And this is a very, very important differentiation to make, okay? More also because we can't always see when somebody is feeling depressed. And I'm going to open this up to the group if somebody wants to jump in and kind of give us a little bit of when they maybe started feeling this kind of overwhelming depression on top of them at what points. It's more up to you guys. Are more than capable of jumping in at whatever point, but I would ask that everybody allows that person to speak.
I want to say for me, it started around 18.
Okay.
I think it was I was working at a community center, and I had been there for like 4 years. I had been training as like the community center manager, so I was doing a lot of community relations, but I was like living at home with my family. And so when they moved to a different city and I stayed, it kind of, I don't know, it made me really sad because the people that I normally like wake up with and go to sleep with and talk to every day, there. And I don't know, ever since then, it's just, I've never really been the same. And it's, I don't know, for me, it's weird because I kind of noticed the difference in my personality and when I'm starting to feel a certain way and when I'm like myself. Like today, I feel okay. Yesterday, however, because of thinking of this whole conversation and everything that we would be talking about, kind of made me depressed. And I sat in here at one point, I literally like cried for no reason. And I was like, what is wrong with you?
See, this is the thing that we're dealing with as well, because it interferes with like work, play, and love. So depending on your relationships as well, it's going to have more of an effect. I'm going to first say thank you to Arctic for your host. That was awesome. And Luna's also chiming in with, "Damn, you got a party today, Mop." Yeah, we got a party. Yeah, continue, man.
I actually lost my train of thought, but
that's all right.
I think I hit the point though. Is that for me it started when I was around 18, and ever since then I've been dealing with it myself. And like I told you and Weedy the other day, I think I'm getting to a point where for me it's starting to become physically exhausting.
Okay.
You're not supposed to be tired when you wake up in the morning. Like,
well, you're going to be tired when you wake up in the morning at the end of the day. Unfortunately, that's the way. But that ongoing tiredness, that's going to be a bit difficult.
Hey, appreciate
guys, would you like to add to that?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I guess the first time I ever felt depression was whenever I was about 8. I had just gotten adopted. No, yeah, about 8, I think. I had just gotten adopted by my grandparents, and I didn't understand why I couldn't be with my mom anymore.
Okay.
And being in a whole new situation with all sorts of new people, really didn't help. Like I started forming a minor form of social anxiety with it.
Yeah.
And that it just didn't help. You know, being an outcast, I was picked on. Not living with my own parents, I was picked on.
It's a difficult situation, yeah.
Oh yeah, and then being extremely emotional at the time, you know, I was being picked on, which all three put together with the fact that, you know, I didn't really have anyone I could talk to about it.
Yeah.
Because I knew my grandparents would sit there and just side skirt any questions I had asked. I mean, it wasn't until I was about 15 whenever I finally realized whenever they finally told me why we were taken away or why we were adopted. And, you know, it was just having to put up with that. Thankfully, I was able to get out of it relatively easy compared to most other people.
Okay.
Without any long-term effects to my own mental health. I was able to make friends who were about as weird as I was.
That's always a good thing, to be fair. See, if you surround yourself with a crowd of people that are just as nuts as you are, then you're onto a good thing at least.
Yeah, I know maybe the wording probably wasn't the best for what we're talking about, but yes, no, they were definitely also considered the outcasts. So, you know, we all ended up sticking together, and it helped. It gave me people to talk to, gave me a way to kind of open up more. And since then, I've been doing fairly decent. I mean,
I'm gonna jump in there, dude, because you say you've been feeling fairly decent, I'm gonna open this one up to the guys as well. Now, these are the standard feelings that you would get with depression. I want to see who identifies with this in their daily life. Okay, so dissatisfaction, that's obviously a feeling that you would get along with depression. That's not what you are. That is basically just a feeling that you would have alongside your kind of mental state. Unmotivated, excess of guilt in very, very kind of easy-ozy situations, things that shouldn't really fill you with guilt. Okay, a lack of sleep or an oversleeping, as you were saying. Who cares? And these kind of general to extreme sadness. This kind of very, very, very relatable sadness. And like Weedy, Zeno, you're more than welcome to jump in on it as well. But again, guys, yeah, on you go, Zeno, on you go. You there, buddy?
No, I said I will. As soon as
Oh,
I
yeah.
work.
Yeah, on you go, on you go. It's just who kind of identifies with those feelings.
Well, I'll start with when I started feeling depressed. When I was a kid, I
Yeah.
was 4 or 5 when my parents got divorced.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I was always a mama's boy, and I still am. I love my mama. Okay. And being a young kid like that and getting taken away from my mom, and
It's a hard thing to go through. Yeah.
I always thought, being the youngest kid, it was my fault that my parents got divorced. If there's something that I did, was I not wanted? As it is, I wasn't wanted from my dad's side of the family anyway. Not from my dad's side, nobody really gave a shit about me. They cared more for my brother's soul.
Okay.
And it was proven time and time again that it was the truth.
Yeah.
Because
Alright.
I was bigger, I was much bigger than everybody on my dad's side, so they always assumed I was from a different man.
Right.
And so my depression was stuck at a young age, and then it really hit me when I wanted to commit suicide for the first time. Is when I left home from my dad, and my dad didn't even go look for me. He didn't care. He didn't look for me. I wasn't even cared about. But when the moment my brother left, not even an hour went by, and my dad had literally every single cop within that town looking for him.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna jump in there. First of all, thank you, Slammy Pancakes, for the host, and also Luna has actually just said if she could basically come through the screen and give you a hug, she would.
I would love a hug.
Okay.
But,
all right.
And when that happened to me, I saw it. My brother that's when he really realized that I wasn't loved.
Big hugs from Dudar.
Love you too, Dudar. Thank you. And
they said you're
for the
wearing
longest
thigh-high
time-
stockings with the place, right?
Always. Only on the weekends though, bro. But just for you today.
I love the fact that there's lightheartedness in this as well. To be fair, I really do. I'm going to cut in there, Zeno, just for a wee second, because you touched on something. Now, suicidal thoughts and tendencies. This is also something that is very, very, very relatable to those who are feeling depressed. And I want to say this first and foremost, so that everybody has an absolute clear picture of what I am trying to say and do here. Suicide, although everybody thinks about it from time to time, especially when you're in that isolated state of mind, it is not an answer. It never has been an answer. It is not a solution to a problem. In fact, more often than not, in its wake, you leave more people with that depression in the loss, that utter grief that is associated with the loss. So for everybody out there who is struggling, and I understand they're struggling, there are better ways. There are far, far better solutions to this problem, and they should be. They should seek help wherever possible. They should talk about it. They should be able to speak openly with people, and this will allow you the steps to begin to manage the situation better.
With
At the end of the show, sorry, Hellfather, we are going to put up resources as well for people who might be feeling this way. Sorry, Hellfather, on you go.
That's great.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, those that are watching my channel, you guys can see, but we've got the national line up there, and we had kind of spoken yesterday, and I wanted to make it known kind of in the beginning when we started getting to this part that you guys can message me, you can message Mop, any of the other people that want to put their names out there during this, if you need to. We do understand that some of this stuff is heavy, slightly triggering for some people's thought processes in that way. So don't hesitate on contacting people. Dudars, it's always there, like he said. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm home all the time, man. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Hit me up. You need dad advice, you need dad behind you. Seriously, call me. You need a friend, call me. You guys can all contact me through Facebook. I'm the Hellfather. Discord, you all obviously have my information. Don't ever hesitate. I don't care what time it is. Seriously, like, don't let the time be the gateway between you and help. That's stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna read out Luna's message here. I hope you don't mind, Luna. She said, I know I've been there. I've also attempted in the double digits. Not something I'm proud of, because I thought I'd try to remind others that the world would be less bright without them. And I absolutely agree with you, Luna. I absolutely agree. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry that's the stage that eventually this was brought to. And I hope you're feeling a lot better now. But there was I remember watching an interview with Keanu Reeves, who I really like him. He's a great actor and stuff, but he did say something that rang quite true with this. Somebody asked him, what do you think happens after you die? And his response to that was maybe one of the most political but truest responses I've ever heard in that respect. And it is, he said, I do know that when a loved one dies, they are missed by all of the loved ones that they leave behind. And this is so true. This is one of the biggest things that we effectively want to guard against. As Hellfather was saying, use the resources, use us. We're here, we're about. There's no shame in talking about it, absolutely none at all. And we're all very understanding. I'm going to jump to Weedy there. Weedy, I remember speaking to you the other night, and you were telling me a little bit about your situation as bipolar. Now, this is a very interesting situation because you actually have a unique point of view compared to most others who would just be suffering from depression. You have the innate ability to see from two angles. One where you are very, very kind of erratic and very joyful, very happy, very kind of like motivated state of mind, and then the other where you fall into that more depressive stage. And I'm wondering if you'd like to kind of elaborate a wee bit more on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of address the initial question about, kind of when the depression started.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't receive my bipolar diagnosis until about a couple of years ago. So for a while, I was just kind of struggling with what I thought was depression. The time that I can really pinpoint that the depression started to set in is definitely when I was 13 years old, and I was sexually abused, and that's kind of where that started. And I attended therapy and stuff like that, and I actually worked past that for the most part. My depression really peaked again in college, and that's kind of when I started seeking out help and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, The thing, so I'm bipolar type 2. So basically what that means is I go through episodes of depression and what is called hypomania. And so the hypomania is what makes me it's honestly similar. The best way I can describe it is it's like I'm Superman. I can do anything. I can see anything. I know the solution to everything. Um, the caveat to that is oftentimes I'm wrong, and oftentimes I'm actually the villain. And so I will get really ramped up and I might say things I don't mean. I might, believe things I don't necessarily believe. And in that moment, I I don't realize it. And
Yeah.
then afterwards, when I'm looking back and I'm seeing the things I said, I'm hearing the things that, I did, and I don't even remember most of it. And that really hits me with depression. I get hit like a truck because it's like, I don't understand how I could be so erratic, occasionally so mean, um, stuff like that. And so that's kind of where a lot of my depression stems from, um, as well as when I'm ramped up in those states, I can see, it's hard to explain. I can almost see years way into the past and years way into the future. And that also bumps me out in a sense because in my mind, and you kind of we touched on it yesterday when you said, I believe it was the geometry of a handkerchief.
blowing
Yes,
in the wind. Yeah.
exactly. And so it makes me sad almost that people don't see what I think is so obvious. And then when things inevitably go wrong, I'm sitting there feeling like I told you so. And again, I kind of really get deep down.
Now, this is what I was talking about a wee bit with the bipolar kind of disorder. We discussed yesterday a baseline. So everybody has almost like a normal baseline. It's unknowable at the end of the day, but it's what we kind of classify as a healthy state of mind. So imagine if you have a straight line running and your hypermania will be right up there. So you'll be really, really erratic, really, really good to go, really motivated, really kind of great work ethic. And then you'll dip underneath that line into this trough of depression, basically. And that will keep trying to happen. Which is interesting, especially for somebody like yourself, because you can see two sides of the ticking clock, where others will only see the kind of trough aspect of it all, and that can be really, really difficult as well, because you're winding back, and you notice that for somebody like yourself, it will be that kind of swing from high to low, and it's a difficult one to go through. I am gonna jump to Trench just for a wee second, because I remember talking to him as well about his experience of when this first kind of you were working, I believe you said to me, and you felt that this kind of overwhelming feeling just come over you, as that was enough.
It's hard to pinpoint when mine started, because I started feeling, which I didn't know was depression as a child. I thought it was normal, to feel this, this. It's like I don't know. It's hard to understand. That's the frustrating thing about depression, especially at such a young age. It just felt as if I was, hauling a large backpack on my back, and that kind of sinks into your chest for some reason and just stays there.
You were in the service as well, weren't you?
In 2007 I joined the service. So it was in 2008. I finally decided, hey, I'm gonna go get some help because I'm starting to realize this isn't exactly normal. It kind of sucks. So I went to, I was in the Air Force. I went to the mental health on base. And during that time, mental health, I hate to say it, but it was more of a formality versus effective at the time. So when I got there, because my depression wasn't deployment related or even permanent change of station related, I was turned down. And I really wouldn't have mind being turned down if I was given more resources or tools I could use if this isn't the place to get it. But that wasn't the case. I was turned away and just kind of suck it up and move on, which I was really good at doing because I have this mask I put on, just smile, keep pushing, just keep on pushing. And in 2016, I broke down finally. So you can imagine this is 8 years later. I just finally broke down, and even then, I lost hope in getting care because of that experience in 2008. So I actually didn't seek the care. It was somebody who saw me acting out of character, which was I'm a jet engine mechanic. I'm always moving, always getting shit done. Got to get these pilots in the air. Always upbeat. But for that moment, somebody noticed. One of my coworkers noticed that I had my head down. I was on sitting down with my head down. I don't do that. And you know, best thing that ever could have fucking happened was he called my first sergeant. And he commanded that I go over there and talk to him. Gave me a choice: either I go inpatient, or they're gonna admit me. So I was like, well, I could use some better tools, so I admitted myself. And I really don't know where to go with this because while I did get the tools I need, it was a harsh reality that I realized that depression doesn't exactly go away. It is something you cope with. Yes, in 2016, I was diagnosed with major depression disorder and panic disorder. They seem to correlate with each other quite often, it seems. But yes, that's pretty much my depression story. But I don't have a certain circumstance or situation or event, it seems, to actually be the cause of the depression. And that's what frustrates me, is I don't know where to start. I wish I had an event that I can reflect on, but I don't.
Hi there. We will come on to the reasons that we believe depression is brought onto a little bit later on. So we'll circle back to that question here. I'm actually going to say, Luna, I actually wish you were free because I would love to have you on and hear from your point of view as well. I feel like we're doing quite well, but I think having more people, the whole point of this kind of podcast today is to let a lot of people who could be watching today or who might be tuning in and out know that first of all you're not alone. There's many other people here that are going through the exact same thing in a different manner maybe, but the exact same thing nonetheless. They are very, very strong individuals. Every last one of them I've spoken to, very kind of good, hardworking people. And also I believe each and every one of them, and I've selected each and every one of them, and I'm sure Luna is the exact same here, selected each and every one of them to be a part of today's show because they have a certain charge, even if they don't know it themselves. They charge themselves with a duty to try and bring a little bit of betterness to other people's lives, simply because they know what it feels like to be in the situation that they're in. Luna, I don't mind you working at all. If you want to jump in, you're more than welcome. Hellfather, would you be able to pop Luna an invite? Just yeah, let's go.
Shoot
You're
me
totally
or
welcome to
post
join
up.
in, Luna. I'd love to have your input on it as well.
Go ahead and shoot me your.
And then Hellfather, it's on to you for your kind of, or in fact, do you want to tell you what? I'll jump Luna in if you want to.
Invite. Yeah, I'll make an invite right now.
Do this part.
Moppin, hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go refill my water. Be right back.
No worries. I've just popped Luna.
For those of you who want to join,
Hellfather.
This.
I believe it's your turn.
Okay. Here, oh, sorry, I forgot I was muted. Luna, here's the Discord that we're using. I will try to watch when you're in there. Tag me as soon as you get in there. The Hellfather. It's real easy, and that way I know you're in there, and I can just bump your status to streamer so you're able to speak. Question. What's the question again?
Whereabouts did you kind of start to recognize that, you know, this is starting to become a bit of an issue?
Start to recognize? I think that happened to me in two parts. Let me try to explain it best I can. Like, I think initially becoming a father kind of made... I became a dad when I was 21. My youngest son was born. Wyatt, love you, little buddy. And that was a big thing because, you know, you go through school and you do all these things. Oh, you know, what are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to do? And for me, it was, I definitely always had a time picking it because, you know, they want you to pick fucking fireman, a marine biologist, a librarian, a teacher, a cop. You know what I mean? A tax-based career.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't around a lot when I was a kid, and I didn't have a spectacular father figure as a child. So, for me, it was, I just wanted to be a better dad than I had, and that was always a thing for me. So when it finally came to that time, it was such a, like, this is it. Like, I've waited for this. I've based all my morals around what the fuck I'm going to do when this shows up. And it was kind of like all of a sudden I was like, fuck, like I have this to deal with of my own. Like, I know that this is bothering me. I don't want this to affect my son. I don't want my son to go through that. And so it was kind of a big thing where there was a moment with a few things in life where it was almost I realized that I had to manage it and I knew it was there. But legitimately, in terms of actually recognizing what it was, because to me, it was just my bullshit. You know what I mean? It wasn't, I didn't identify it as a depression. I was just like, fuck, man, I really just need to get done with this shit and move the hell on. And, it took until the beginning of this year, not much before we met. I mean, we've talked about this quite a few times. I finally reached out because it was just overkill. I've been going through my own things with court and my eldest son, which has kind of...
Yeah, you were saying.
That's my heavy into things. So when I reached out and they asked me, it was a specific question that the person who was doing like my second or third assessment, there was a little bit more of an intimate questioning. And she asked me a question that really hit me. And it kind of hurt a little bit because I didn't realize it. And she asked me, she's like, what's the last day you remember where you felt it was 100%, where it was a 10 out of 10? I couldn't think of one. My initial thoughts were like, I said the things that everybody would say. Oh, aside from how my marriage ended, the day I got married, the day my son was born. And she's like, no, like a regular day. When's the last time you just had a normal day without a special event that you just had a good day, a solid 100 day? And I was just... I couldn't think of one. And it was like, the only thing I could think of was like, we went to a beach, and even that, it was still an event. We did it for my daughter's birthday, and it was still just like, man, like, my days are kind of more of it's an obstacle. I got to get to the next one and make sure the next one isn't a bad one. Not necessarily a good one, just not a bad one.
Well, this is the thing as well. Like, you see a lot of people that are kind of in this state of mind, and they go through the motions. I think Luna's jumping in there. They go through the motions, but the
got me, Luna.
You got it. they go through the motions and they're interacting throughout their normal daily life, but their normal daily life
You're good, Luna.
isn't changing much. That in that way, it doesn't really give you a lot of
Damning. That's the best word
yeah,
I could think of. It feels
yeah, it doesn't
like
give you a lot of outsource to kind of change a situation a wee bit better. And I think a lot of people feel more isolated because of that.
If I can just elaborate on that just a little
Yeah, go
bit.
for it.
First of all, Trench, I just want to say thank you for your service. And to kind of touch on what
Thanks, brother.
yeah, no problem. Just to kind of touch on what you and Hellfather were talking about, and especially number one, not being able to remember the last time you had a day that was 100. I can relate to that, and that's a very depressing thing within itself. And to kind of go further with that, it's really difficult, and I noticed that was something you said, Trench, is you can't really pinpoint where that depression comes from. And that's really difficult, especially when you don't know which resources you need to get help. And it's difficult in a way because you almost don't experience depression. You are depression. That is your whole existence. That is who you are. And you are so intertwined with that. It's difficult to even imagine a life without depression. And I think that in itself is very hard as well.
Identify as instead of with.
Can I jump in for a sec?
On you go.
Weedy. I like to use analogies with depression because it's the best way I can explain something without knowing it. It's like having a box of Band-Aids without knowing where to apply the Band-Aid. You can have all the tools you need, but you don't know what you're doing. You're right, absolutely right. You want to know what you need to do. It's hard to pinpoint. So, it brings me why when Mopintop invited me here, I quickly jumped on it. This is something I've never done. So, I encourage a lot of people to do this too, because it's relieving knowing that you're not alone in this shit. It's relieving.
Well, I hope others are kind of watching and hearing that part, that it's relieving to know that, and to start a conversation, a dialogue, I believe, is a bit better. Even I think yesterday, me and you, was it yesterday? Who cares? Or was it the day before? I think it was yesterday.
I think before.
Or day before, sorry. I get my days mixed up so easily, man. No, we were talking about, and I hope you don't mind me saying, about how you were kind of struggling a wee bit and your therapy was going well, but you felt like you could need a little bit of extra help. I don't know if you want to maybe elaborate a wee bit on that.
I wanted to touch on that because, a lot of the times, Black people, African American people don't really believe in depression. So that's one thing that I want to put out there. There's a lot of people in the African American community don't believe in depression as an actual thing. It's you're just in your feelings and you'll get over it. And
I have to be honest, I think there's a lot of older generations as well that kind of have that mentality. Yeah. It's more along the lines of you're just upset about something, move on, it'll be fine.
I'm from an island where that stuff is stigmatized. Toughen up, you got freaking farm work to do. You don't have time for that shit, So there's no real place to help. And I'm sorry, who cares? I was like, man, I gotta say something now. But you're absolutely right. I feel you there because everybody knows everybody on the island, but because it's a small island. But then you kind of think about it, nobody really knows you because they don't know what the fuck you're going through. They don't know that shit. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know.
And
who cares? You were saying, yeah.
But that's why I wanted to go back to therapy, because once you tell someone in the African American community that you're going to therapy, they kind of look at you and go, well, what are you going to a therapist for? Like, what do you need to talk to somebody for? What do you have issues? Like, what is this? And so it's a lot of stigma around that. And so that was one of the reasons why at first I was like, I'm going to deal with this myself. I'm going to handle this myself because I know me better than anybody else knows me, and I can deal with the problem. And that didn't work. And I was putting myself into situations where my depression started to affect my other emotions negatively. So I could be sad about something, but if you were to do something that I didn't like, it would piss me off immediately.
Definitely.
And so I wanted to know why I was like that, because I'm not that kind of person. So instead of just me fiddling around trying to figure out what was wrong with me, I was like, I'm gonna go actually talk to somebody whose job it is to figure out what the fuck is wrong with me. Excuse my language.
Sorry, buddy.
And
What you fucking say to me?
I think we're all rated
It
M.
worked for a long time, like for a few years, up until I decided to move to Texas, and then it started happening all over again. And it was only because I was in a new place. I literally don't know anybody here. The only person that I know here is my partner and his mom and his family. So it's just been really difficult for me to sit here. Like this whole time we've been talking, I've really been trying to like hold it together. But it's just like really difficult to be on a roller coaster of your own emotions. And it's really, I'm just getting to the point where I'm just like, I don't want to be on the roller coaster anymore.
I love that analogy. Sorry, but I've used that before actually. And the way I describe it is, especially when it comes to bipolar, you have these really high highs, and then the coaster dips down. And I just wish I just had a button to just stop it.
Yeah.
Like this is just a crazy ride, and I just want to stop it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna jump in there a wee bit, guys, just to so that everybody kind of gets a chance. I don't mean to be rude if I jump in when somebody's in the middle of a flow. It's just so that
you're good.
just so that everybody can get like a point to say as well. Luna, thank you for joining us as well tonight. You were talking about stigma there. Can you maybe give us a little bit more on top of that, if you're able to?
In terms of like the stigma people face with mental health.
Yeah, well, you yourself, I was seeing in the chat there, you were saying a wee bit about the things that you were going through, and this is probably like a really good talking point that I definitely want the people who are watching to kind of hear, and I wanted to hear a little bit from your experience.
So just in general with my experience, especially with depression, I've suffered with depression ever since I was young. I had a very strange family dynamic, which kind of I've learned recently in therapy has been a huge contributing factor to that, as well as anxiety, and I've been diagnosed with a dissociative disorder as well. So I have a whole smorgasbord of things.
Is that BDS? Yeah.
BDS?
Borderline dissociative.
No. I don't really want. I'm still dealing with the diagnosis myself, so
That's
I'm not
okay.
going to say exactly what it is.
No problem. That's okay. Sorry, I don't mean to push, but you're absolutely right.
You're good. It's something I'm just not super open about, so
That's
you just
okay.
get the generic thing right now.
That's okay.
But earlier I had said that I have made attempts on my life in the double digits. That number is actually 67 times.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
From starting when I was 11 or 12 years old. The last time I made any attempt on myself was in 2018, which is why I also spoke up of sometimes it takes an outsider to do something, because in 2018, one of my best friends and my partner frog marched me to the hospital for a crisis. And that was my wake-up call that I needed to look for help. I was raised that you don't look for help. You don't need help, you deal with shit on your own. A member of my family had learned at one point when I was in high school that I had made attempts on my life, and just kind of went, just you'll learn how to deal with it.
Hey, what's up, Bunny Hunters?
Don't do it
Welcome in.
again.
Welcome in.
But no one,
Sorry,
up
I'm trying to stay
until
quiet while everybody's
2018
talking. Apologize.
made a point of making sure to like make me go someplace to get help, and made that reaction, that chain reaction of actually seeking a therapist and seeking help.
Right.
And I've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety since I was 13 or 14. and
Yeah.
I just turned 32 this week, so it's been a
Happy
bit,
birthday.
and uh
Shoot, I did too. Happy birthday.
so it's definitely been a journey, and
Yeah.
on top of that, like, I've had my boss recognize when I've had really bad depressive episodes, which
yeah.
happened in 2018.
I'm definitely glad to have you.
He actually recognized, he took me out for lunch and just did a touch base. My work, the department I'm in now, actually has
tell them in a second when they're done
we
talking.
call it our wellness team,
Yep.
which I am a part of, and sometimes I think my coworkers get sick of hearing me preach about the importance of taking care of your mental health. Because I can be real annoying. But it's a really important thing, and something I've told my coworkers, I've told friends and
appreciate you,
family
Bad
that
Appreciate you.
mental health is an
Thanks for
uncomfortable
coming in
thing
for
to
this.
talk about. And a big reason it's
Talking a lot less
uncomfortable
than
to
usual.
talk
Just
about
trying to give
is
everybody
there's so
their
much
time.
stigma behind
know?
it. It's very much like, oh, you shouldn't tell people about that. You should just deal with that quietly. As we are going further and further, younger generations are more open about their mental health, and
believe so,
I
yeah.
think that
It's getting
is
that way.
amazing. As we're slowly getting away from that stigma, that is a huge thing to actually see improvements in mental health and mental health situations being taken more seriously, which is a huge thing we need.
Absolutely.
Because
I
a
just gotta
lot
get
of
the biddy one to stick. I
communities,
actually
whether
emailed them about
it's
it.
a
Them trying to
large
get it
community
fixed.
or if it's just like a
'Cause
familial
it's there, but it's
community,
not. So
you
supposed
get a lot of the, well,
adjust
you
my
just have
lumbar
to deal with
support.
that on your own. Something that
Um,
I dealt with a lot was I was told asking for help makes you weak. People seeing you cry makes you weak.
I'm gonna jump in there just for a wee second, Luna, just to ask a very, very simple question. Of all those here, finding somebody to speak to, has that been a step in the right direction, a help in hand, a stepping stone towards a better tomorrow for you guys? Has that positively impacted?
When I did it myself, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I can say that along with TheHellfather, you know, for the longest time I dealt with it alone. I grew up in a family that, you know, you're a bitch if you go to somebody. If you
Hey,
go
I
ask for
appreciate you
somebody
guys coming in. It is a really good
you
topic.
know, I have
Mop up
uncles who
here
I'm
to my
terrified
left. He
over.
does
You know,
this.
like
I usually
these
sit in
guys
if I'm
have
not in
never
it.
asked
I'm helping
anybody
moderate it.
for help or anything.
Mental notes every
You know,
Thursday. We do it at
and
noon
my
Pacific
brothers
Standard Time.
also, you know,
Welcome to come sit
them
in if
too.
there's a topic you feel you could
I always got
contribute
bullied,
to.
especially by my older
Always
brothers.
welcome to have people that have something good to say on it.
So being constantly bullied,
we've done things like
and
anxiety,
being talked
depression,
down to, being treated like
loss,
shit, whether they
and a
realize
lot
they're
of the
doing it to
important
me
stuff.
or not,
And Mop is
it
also
took a
he's a
toll,
qualified
you
mental
know?
health care professional as well.
So like, honestly, when I met my wife, it was the happiest day of my life.
Great guy to have for the discussion.
That's nice.
Like, she understood me
Yeah.
better than anybody I've ever met in my entire life. That's including my mom, my brothers, my family, anybody. You know, like
that's
and
Zeno
even then,
Damiel.
it's still
I'll
hard
throw
for me to
I'll throw up his thing. If you guys have a question on any of them, let me know.
Because
But you are glad you had somebody to have a sounding board of, somebody that you could kind of reach out to and talk to.
like there's so many times that I've cried in front of this woman, and a male, you know, being a man in our society, you know what I mean? Real men don't cry. Tough men don't cry. You know.
Yeah, this is the
cry.
This is the old mentality. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the
And I catch myself doing that to my son.
It's in Latin communities, there really is. I'm Latino as well, and there's really a big air of toxic masculinity and machismo. To be honest, like you need to be the macho man. You need to provide. You're not supposed to cry. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's realistically it's in all communities that have a strong masculinity. We just all think it's only each individual community. Like we've all said, Hispanic, African American. One of my best friends, I'm not gonna say his name because he's African American, and as he said, for some people it is a sensitive subject to talk on, and he is one of the people that we speak in private. But he has expressed that, like, I'm his white friend that he could talk to, and he said that a couple of times because he doesn't have anybody that's close to him in his nationality or in his circle where he lives. He lives in Georgia. I'm like the only white guy he knows. So it's like, and he's expressed that it's a different comfortability level. But I mean, it's just finding the person. It's really not the nationality. It's finding the right people, because we're all there for it. It's just there's much more of an audience that's willing to say that they're not and pull the machismo bullshit.
Yeah.
also-
Uchimari. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I
I
was
was
just
just going to ask Uchimari there if you kind of had that experience where you've been able to go out and speak to somebody a wee bit, and that
Beginning
giving
of the
you
year,
a more positive outlook.
actually like a month and a half ago.
Well, like I had explained
I was
earlier,
diagnosed
whenever I had
with
found my little group,
generalized anxiety.
and I mean, this had taken
severe
me a few
depression,
years
and
after
PTSD.
I had moved into
So,
my hometown now, and
been a road.
after I had found my group, it was a little bit easier for me to open up. I still didn't really discuss my feelings all too terribly much, like the cause of anything, or anything like that. But just actually having people to hang out with,
mentality around it.
It
does
play
seem
around
to
with and all that
centralize
good
somewhat
stuff.
around
That
masculinity pretty
helped in its
regularly.
own sense. It wasn't until I was about 16, 17 years old. And at this current time, I was going through my rebellion phase.
As all
my
teenagers do.
grandparents- Yes, as all teenagers do. Mine hit late. I was a junior in high school whenever mine hit, and usually the rebellion phase is middle school.
Right.
Yeah. I think a lot of the
And at
speaking
this
out,
time, I started
anyway,
drinking,
it was more of an accidental,
got into drugs,
like things that I said where I didn't
and
mean to
like I
let
I
information
knew that the
slip, or
group I
somebody
was
just was
hanging
able
out
to-
with at the
to
time was
hear
somewhat
it a
toxic.
particular way that
There
it
was a
needed to be
couple of
heard.
members of the group that weren't. Like, they wouldn't push me to do anything. They would poke fun at me if they really wanted me to join them in like a drink or toke up or whatever. They'd poke fun at me until I did, but they didn't actually try peer pressuring me all too terribly much.
Yeah.
If I was
Okay.
adamant about no, they dropped it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
one of these guys, I was able to actually open up to more so than anyone else that I had known, and I had only known him for a few months.
Okay.
I just felt comfortable enough around him to talk about my issues. He kind of had the same thing going on, just kind of reversed. He lived with his mom, didn't know his dad, or knew his dad but hated his dad, I guess. I can't really remember the whole story. And so, there was a common point. So I was able to use that as a focal point to express myself. And then after I was able to open myself up the first time, it was easier and easier and easier.
So
Floodgate.
I'm gonna jump in there for a wee second and just go on for a wee side topic here. Now, this is something that I've been recently kind of brought up against, guys. So I don't know if a lot of you can kind of attest to this a wee bit, but when I started this, a lot of the things that I was getting back from the collective communities that I was kind of fleshing ideas out to, they said a lot of the things that they were experiencing was a lot of kind of anxiety, a lot of depression with what they're doing. And I was thinking to myself, why is there so much in this streaming community? Why is there so much kind of anxiety, so much mental health being brought forth? And why are people feeling this way? And I've spoken with a few people like Hellfather, Iram, Luna as well. We had a bit of a discussion about it. We've spoken about it, and we realize, well, at least we think we realize this. This is a matter of public opinion, but people are in a situation where they expect things to go very successfully for them. And when things don't maybe make up to their expectations, that brings them into a real kind of hard nutshell of isolation. Now, I'm going to go off on a tangent here with this kind of dissatisfaction feeling that people get. So, today's world is a very, very kind of fast-paced, moving one. We have people who are out there pushing a lot of stuff via social media, advertising, pop culture, and it all kind of reinforces this idea that unless you have the perfect sort of life, unless you have your dream job, you failed. Okay, unless you have conventional attractiveness, then you've not got enough. Unless you are like with your soulmate, unless you're making a lot of money, unless you're making, you have a massive friend group, unless you are super, super successful in everything you've done, you've not done enough. And then what's worse is that they sell you the products that you think you need to make yourself better, whether it be kind of self-help products or a lot of stuff like that. And when that doesn't work out for you, you feel even worse about it because you must not be right for the product. And all of that dissatisfaction, all of it mounts up and it builds up, and it's expected too much. People expect far too much for themselves. And a lot of the time that I'm speaking with people, and there has been a few people that I've even just spoke to, it's this idea that
completely agree with you.
Don't expect as much as you're wanting out of this. Just go along with the whole plan, and you will feel a bit better about it. You won't feel as dissatisfied. And if you're also suffering from things
and I try so hard,
such as depression, this is going to make that a wee bit easier for you.
For me,
okay? It's going to make it a wee bit easier for you to process the scenario. And I never got into this with the intention of being of having 1 million followers or making vast amounts of wealth or anything along those lines. All I got into this for was to help provide a message to people, and I'm hoping I'm getting that across the airways. But I'm wondering what the kind of the group here thinks about this kind of ongoing need to be so successful in this industry. It's free for anybody, by the way.
I can.
Hellfather, on you go first.
No, you go first. It's all good. You go ahead, man. You start talking first.
Alright. I believe that a lot of people want to be wealthy with this kind of stuff simply because it allows us to be closer to our families while we're doing what we do. We have fun. We get to play video games. We get to entertain people. We get to meet thousands of people from all over the world. Dude, one of my, I love this guy. On the other side of the world.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I really like him as well.
I love him. He's awesome. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we get the chance to experience and build these friendships that we've never been able to do if we never did this. And then I believe that some people, the need to want to be wealthy is, my firm. I'll tell you my want. The reason why I wish I can make money doing this is because one, I'll be able to give back to my personal community that I live in.
Yeah.
Help those who are struggling, just like I was, just like I am now. I can help feed the poor. I can help do what I love to do, and actually be able to make a difference in my community. Along with being able to provide for my kids, my wife, my family, and be happy. Yeah, people like us who struggle with depression, it's very rare for us to even be happy. I'm pretty sure we can all have $1 billion and none of us will still be happy. But what makes me happy is being able to put a smile on somebody else's face.
Yeah.
That's truly what makes me happy.
With $1 billion.
Yeah. What I will say is, see all those guys that made $1 billion, every last one of them, they put an exuberant amount of effort into it. Man. They were incredibly lucky as well. Incredibly lucky. It's not expected that everybody who is going to be a streamer is going to make $1 billion. And on top of that as well, they really, really loved what they're doing. Because you cannot expect to go to work and knock your pan in every single day unless you really, really love what you're doing. You gotta really, and these guys are incredibly, incredibly fortunate. but it's not the reality of the situation. And the reality is that there's more people wanting to be billionaires as opposed to the billionaires themselves. So love what you do. Give yourself a bit of joy in what you're doing. Don't let it overtake you.
Well, and another hard part of this to process, honestly.
Yeah.
Everybody's not made for it.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to insult. I'm not talking to anybody in particular. It's just the facts are everybody's not made for it, right? There's how many TV channels? You could think of what, 3, 4 off the top of your head that you would go to and watch off the bat if you had them available to you. It's the same thing stream-wise, you know what I mean? It's 7 years ago, this was a whole different game. You could blow up off of making an ass out of yourself, right? And you look at people like Ninja, arguably just a big dickhead who's not even that great at the game he plays. And then, you know what I mean? And then you have people who approach it and are a similar type of person as an entertainer, like Doc Disrespect. There's a method to this shit. These guys don't just hop on, play video games, and enjoy themselves. So there is a separation that needs to happen with that, where you understand that there's a point where this stops being a hobby, and you have to fully treat it as a career. You can enjoy yourself, and that's fine. Enjoy what you do, but there's a method to success. It's not an accident. Success is not a fucking accident. Like, you have to work hard. You have to do, like, man, I love referring back to a lot of the shit Will Smith used to say on shit, man. That whole brick by brick mentality that he's got. You know, you just gotta make one brick really fucking well at a time. Don't worry about the wall. Set one perfect fucking brick at a time and do the next one and the next one. Because that's what those guys did, man. They approached it in a particular way, and it wasn't straight going for the money off the bat for a lot of reasons.
No, it wasn't.
There's a whole method, and I mean, Zeno knows this. Zeno was known by something else before I found him, and I dead ass rebranded his ass, helped him think of a whole name. You can ask him. He made as fast as you can get the days in a row was when he turned affiliate after we did it. Yep. There's an entire method to doing this shit. Like, there's an interaction you have to do. It's not, and we see a lot of posts, and it's where a lot of people I think get beat up is, oh, I've been doing this for this long. What do I need to do to change? And you hit them with a simple question of, okay, well, what's different? And I'm gonna make a few people laugh. What makes you different than every other Warzone streamer? There's how many of them? You know what I mean? That's what, 75% of Twitch right now? Like,
oh yeah, Warzone got big and it hit big hard.
I don't understand why.
It's
because
you guys can keep that.
multiplayer.
It's a lot easier to see, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's a lot easier to see a fish in a bowl than it is the ocean.
Give me 5 really good personalities playing really, really nice stuff or having really good chats and really developing a community. Give me 5 of those every day of the week over the millions that just want to go on and play one game and not really contribute too much.
That was the old way with Twitch. Variety streaming was the failed way to do Twitch in the beginning. You had to dedicate yourself to one title when this shit started.
I'm gonna jump back to the topic and nature here. Now we're gonna talk about the clinical studies. Why we know for a fact that
welcome in, Dev. Good to have you, bro.
That depression is a real clinical condition. Okay, and it's not something that's just been made up. It's not something that is that people have just kind of dreamed up, and it's not something that I feel a lot of people really understand. It is something that is biochemically based. It is something that is
part of the Underworld Elite.
It's something that has been researched thoroughly. Sorry, I'm getting my words all crossed, and it's something that we have a lot of people working in the industry to try and help with. Now, we don't really know what brings about depression. We don't know where it's triggered from, and so you said that earlier, Trench. We don't really know how this is triggered or where it comes from or what types of things really kind of contribute to it. We do know there is a link between genetics and environment that can have an impact on a person's state of health, but we don't really know what causes it. We do know what the actual reactions are in your body when somebody is feeling depressed. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to make clear. You can have a physical trait or a mechanical trait that is causing an issue, and that could be a decreased volume in your frontal lobe of your brain, which is this part of your brain here. Okay, so you maybe have a smaller aspect of that, and that can cause
Funny,
people
Dev,
to
you're
feel
stopping
depressed.
by.
There's also
I am
another part of
actually
your
wearing
brain called the
Strategist today.
hypothalamus center. And this also
Dev
can
over
have
there, he's
a
our
mechanical
president of our
function
little
in the nature
brewery.
of
He's the leader
depression, how
of
it
our
plays with you. Okay,
gaming end of
and
it.
really,
and stuff.
really, what we
On
talk
Fable.
about is
He's at Twitch
a
10, gets 10%
decrease
off.
in the neurotransmitters, the
My little drop.
biochemical stuff that happens
While
in your
Boss Man's
brain.
here.
Okay, this is the stuff that is depleted, and this is the stuff that will cause somebody to feel very, very low, very, very isolated. Okay, and the particular neurochemicals we're speaking of are serotonin, noradrenaline, and dopamine. Okay, so when these chemicals are depleted in our brains, okay, we start to react very physiologically differently. Okay, and one of those things are blunted circadian rhythms, so your sleep patterns and your REM, your rapid eye movement, and your slow wave sleep cycles are totally thrown out of whack. So you might not be able to get to sleep, or you might be craving sleep for a long time, okay, before you actually get any. You might also have hormonal imbalances as well, and you find that a lot in women who are suffering depression. They may have a lot of different hormonal balances. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, so there's a lot that can play to it. But the thing I'm going to be talking about next, and why I'm bringing in the biochemical imbalances, is because we use chemicals to try and fix those balances. And those chemicals are the medications that we see and use and work in today. So I'm going to say, hang on. Hi, Ace Luck. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining in. We're just having a chat about depression here. I'm going to open this up to the floor as well. Basically, if people are comfortable with it, would they mind talking about the medication they're currently taking? It's open to everybody.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Hormonal imbalances suck. I'm just gonna say that.
I know, Scott. You are right. You are right. There can be a real. I know a couple of people who I treat whose hormones, and it's been studied. I mean, we do the blood work. You see it on the graphs and stuff like that as well. They can have real trouble with it. You know, it really sucks for them.
I will say I'm not currently on any medication. That's a whole thing with the doctors and whatnot, because I have a lot of medical issues. So me going on medications is usually a very long process. Yeah. However, I have many female friends who are medicated. One of the things from a female perspective for getting medicated is finding the right medication that can mesh with their birth control, which can cause hormonal stuff, or other medication they might need for feminine issues. So one of my friends versus another one of my friends, because they went through getting medicated around the same time, it took her 3 times as long for her doctors to figure out stuff for her than it did for him, just because of the hormonal stuff that a woman's body does on its own, plus the stuff we take for birth control, which is all hormones.
It's all hormones. Yep, it's all hormones. Every last one of them.
And honestly, finding a medication as a woman, whether it's for mental health or for other reasons, can be a nightmare. I know I've experienced it with other stuff I've had, and it has worsened my depression.
Yeah.
Just because of everything being thrown out of whack. And it can take months upon months, if not well over a year or two, to find a medication that works.
Yeah.
And that entire time, it can be making your symptoms worse.
Now, Weedy, you were speaking to me the other day about the medication that you are currently taking. Would you mind elaborating? You don't have to if you don't want to, but I am opening it up to you because it was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So to be honest, am on a cocktail of medications. So as I said earlier, my diagnosis kind of came in stages. So what I take and complete is I am prescribed Lexapro, which I take once a day. I'm prescribed Lamictal, which I also take once a day, and I actually just titrated my dose up to 200 milligrams for that. I take Seroquel 3 times a day. I take Adderall usually just once in the morning because most of my medications are downers, so I get very sleepy. And then lastly, and the one that I'm personally a little concerned about that I was speaking with you is I'm prescribed Xanax, which I have been on pretty much since I started medication. So long-term use of that when I know typically it's supposed to be for short-term management. So yeah. And then just to add clarification as well, the Lexapro is an antidepressant. The Xanax is a benzo. The Seroquel is an antipsychotic. The Lamictal is a mood stabilizer and as well as a anticonvulsant. And then Adderall is just a stimulant. So it was hard.
Quite a proverbial. It's a lot to take into your body as well, and it's a lot for your body to try and work out the balances with it as well.
Yeah, it was definitely tough, especially because I only started with the Lexapro and the Alprazolam, and then we kind of boosted up from there. And I think I mentioned to you as well, to be very honest, my first month on medication, I don't really remember. It was a blur. So that's another thing that's important, and that's something I find in my personal friend group as well. They or even family, they'll take a medication for maybe a month, and they will say they don't see the benefits or they see negative side effects. But it's important to know that because these are chemicals that you're putting into your brain, it does alter it over time. So it could very well take a month, 2 months before you really start to see the benefits of a medication. I found in my experience as well.
Okay. I'm gonna go on to Who Cares for a wee minute there, guys. Who Cares? I remember you speaking to me yesterday about possibly looking at the potential of taking medication, and we were talking about how you were a wee bit maybe afraid of taking medication. I think this is a very, very good point if you want to maybe speak on it a wee bit, just because there's maybe a few people out there who are a wee bit nervous to try something, and maybe even hearing from your experience in this case could help bring them on a wee bit.
Well,
I got you.
I feel like me taking the medication, it's a fear of like swallowing the pills and it's like getting stuck in my throat. It's like an irrational.
That's all right.
Like I said,
No,
I
to
got
be
bitten
fair.
and I never took the medicine.
I haven't spoken up mine, but I took meds when I was a kid. I've had ADHD since I was
choke on my pill and then I'm be dead.
I took quite a few different things, man.
Killed me, and I don't want that to happen. So I was like, no. And I low-key honestly feel like I might have
took for ADHD when I was younger was ADHD. Or was
ADHD?
Jesus.
Because
right?
I can talk.
I did that for a while, and it really was like a very hard habit to kick. So I feel like for me, it was looking at the medications that I would be given and seeing like how they would affect me. But then I think you had said that they really just go by like you go and they like assess you and then they give you doses upon assessment.
Do. So this is maybe a point I want to throw out, and everybody can weigh on it as well. Now, medication is not a cure-all. It's not a silver bullet. It's a tool that we use in conjunction with therapy to try and make things a little bit easier for people to manage. Okay, and I know a lot of people out there are
Very
afraid
daunting.
of taking medication for exactly the same reasons. They don't like to swallow it. They're afraid of side effects. There's a whole host of reasons as to why the patients don't really want to take their medication. But we encourage people who are in need of an extra help to try and take a little bit of medication only as a tool. And yeah, I know, to be honest, Luna, I am afraid of medication as well. If I ever get to the stage where I need to take medication, I am usually afraid of taking it as well. And that's weird coming from the guy who works in the profession. But, you know, it's one of those crazy things. But I am opening this up for you guys to maybe even give your kind of like your thoughts on using medication as a tool.
So I took meds as a kid. I was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, and I went. You know, we were the hamster generation. I'm 33. I was born in '88, January 1st. We were the hamster generation, guinea pig generation. You know, we got thrown a lot of medication for something that they really are just now getting like good information on, to be honest, because it was like around 10 years ago the ADD stopped being a thing and it's all ADHD. They stopped using the term ADD. I actually did a report. I was doing, like I told you before, I was in school for child psychology and things of that nature, and I actually did my paper on ADHD the year that they changed that.
It's had, I think, about 3 or 4 names. The last ones I remember were ADD, and then it got changed to ADHD.
Because they took the umbrella down, and they're like, no, it's all
under the same bracket.
So I did that, and a lot of those meds, for those who've taken them, you guys know, it zombifies you. It fucks with your appetite. Big thing for my dad when I was a kid that I vividly remember him saying all the time, and because it bothered me, because to me it didn't click, was he would get upset because I wouldn't necessarily have an outward emotional reaction about something. And for me, I was like, no, I'm happy about it. Like, I'm just not you're happy. Like, I'm not outwardly reacting. And I don't know if that was the med so much as just, having ADHD and having, because I mean, for me, it's a million miles a minute. That's why, when I drove, that was the best job I had because I had so much shit to pay attention to. And then being a cook, I have so much shit to pay attention to. It was great. Worked fucking great for that.
Ace is chiming in there. He's also avoided meds his whole life.
I stopped.
Any kind of any mind-altering substances. And he's been fortunate that he's not had to be put in a situation that he needs it, but it is scary, and I do understand where you're coming from, Ace. I always try to find holistic options if possible, but I know it's not always possible. And now this is important for people who might need a little bit of an extra hand. We would go down the road of, would you deny a diabetic his insulin? Would you deny somebody who is asthmatic an inhaler? And the simple state of affairs comes down to, if you are in real need of that extra helping hand, then it's a serious thing to consider and add into your therapy. Remember, it's not going to cure everything. It's not going to be the thing that helps just miraculously magic everything away. It's just not going to happen like that. It's just a stepping stone. And we do, as health professionals, hope to get people to a point where they can reduce that dosage and even come off that medication later on in life. It does happen. People are not eternally on these medications. As HellFather said, at some point you have to make decisions for your own health, and we try to educate people in that respect.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead, HellFather.
I was gonna say, when I was 16 is when I stopped taking. I was taking Dexedrine, was the last medication I took for that.
That heavy one.
Yeah, fucking A. When I stopped taking it, I had been living with my father at that point. I had moved from my mother's to my father's house, and he essentially gave me the option. He's like, "Look, you're grown, you're 16, gonna be an adult." Like, and his stance on it was one that I'll always respect. Is he wanted me to experience it before I was an adult and have that time to. You have the option of understanding, and it did. Like, I stopped for a month or two, and then I started taking. I actually finished the bottle, which was like another month, I want to say.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I took it. And then I'm 33 now, and I want to say 2 months ago, maybe I'm wrong. I started, the ones that I'm taking, we've talked about fluoxetine, or I would just use regular names.
Yeah, fluoxetine.
How's it called? Prozac. And
Prozac.
then that's my regular one because I have generalized anxiety, severe depression, and PTSD. And then I have what's called a rescue, which I know there's like a more medical term for that I don't recall. But it's hydroxyzine, which has been the one that I've struggled with.
Hydroxyzine actually,
Regulating.
very interestingly, yeah, hydroxyzine actually is an antihistamine. It's quite Atarax is the other name for it. But the way it works is to try and kind of stabilize your mood and kind of sedate you a wee bit. So how have you been feeling? Yeah, how have you been feeling?
I'm using those. I've had like 2 panic attacks where I've had to take it, and I mean, I wish it would affect me faster, but at the same time, I wish it wouldn't last as damn long.
Yeah,
because there's been some times where I've missed my stream because like I wake up and I'm doing my stuff and like I'm just fucking like I sit down and I'm fucking out. So it's like that part sucks. It's like I don't want to be depressed, but I don't want to be asleep either. Shit.
Right.
And I smoke. I'm a cannabis user. That's been my crutch for years,
Same.
And an educated cannabis user. I go into my clubs, and along with that, I worked in the industry to a degree at one point. So I do know my way around that, and it's not for everybody. And I wish it was approached a little bit more like medication was by people, because everybody goes and gets whatever and thinks it's all going to react the same. Each strain is a different medication.
Yep.
And it's another thing where you look at it the same as you look at the meds, like what you would go through in starting a lot of this stuff. You do one for a little while, and you see how it affects you for, like he was saying, for the 2-month period or whatever the medication takes to be in your system enough to be regular. It's the same kind of thing, and I think it's kind of how, I don't know if you were kind of hinting at that with what you were saying, but it's one of the things that unfortunately there was a stupid negative stigma that literally comes from business owners back in the day against it, when it's a genuine, a helpful tool if it's used correctly.
Now, in America, is cannabis legalized?
In certain states, so where I live in
Not
Colorado, it
federally.
is legalized.
It's
not federally. But they don't.
But you can get a prescription from a doctor.
Yes,
and
like
they
I
can-
have a prescription.
Yeah, per se. There usually won't be. They'll be independently operating outside of a firm or something because they can't associate themselves because of the federal aspect.
Yeah, like the way
it's a weird,
very tricky.
It's a weird relationship.
Because it's not on the federal level. It can get very tricky, especially if you have a job that has any type of federal contracts. If they drug test you, even if it's legal in your state, you can still be arrested because you work someplace with federal contracts, and because it's not legal federally,
if they pay any federal tax. If they pay any federal tax.
So in Colorado, if I could just speak for a bit and also add some nuance. So in Colorado, it's pretty legal, and you just you go, you get your prescription and everything. However, you do revoke some rights as a citizen.
Yep.
So for example, with my medical marijuana card, I have revoked my Second Amendment right, so I cannot bear arms here. My wife has a firearm, but I am not allowed to have one. And then just to kind of add nuance as well, so I also am a heavy cannabis user as well. I have been for several years, and it was helpful for sure, and I still use it. But I will say, I can very confidently say that without my medications, I don't know if I'd be here. Medications have 100% saved my life, and it hasn't always been an easy journey, and there are negative side effects, and you have to go through a process. But I will say that despite the stigma with medications, and I do think some medications deserve it, like for example benzodiazepines, but I think that there needs to be more positivity, I guess, because I think while there's a stigma around mental health, going hand in hand with that, there's a stigma and getting that medication and saying, okay, there is something wrong chemically with my brain, and I have to take this substance to fix it. And that's kind of a big pill to swallow as well. Like, my brain chemically just does not work like other people's. So yeah.
I was gonna say, I can think back to what you were saying. I can think back when I was young, dumb, uninformed, and not the individual I am now, where I probably did and saw somebody tell me to go take a fucking Prozac, and I take 2 a damn day now.
Right.
Like, it's just my mentality. You know, I didn't understand. I wasn't consciously going through it, and it's, you know, I think a lot of that is what we're doing, the awareness. It's people understanding you don't have to see me in a fucking cast for me to be hurt.
Exactly.
So Ace Luck is jumping in. He's saying Colorado's his favorite state, so I think he's on with you, Weedy.
Hey, shout out Colorado.
Hey,
shout out Colorado.
Gotta go to the west to get the best, man. California.
My wife's from San Diego.
And he's also saying Big Pharma messes up a lot of this, and they push for money. Across all medical practices. And I think me and Luna, we did have a good conversation about that on one of the other podcasts, didn't we?
Methadone?
We did, talking about stuff in my state of Massachusetts, because weed is legal here too. I also just work for a grocery wholesaler that has federal contracts with some U.S. Army bases.
Of course, dude. Of course. I'm just reading this right now, buddy.
If anyone gets drug tested and weed is found, even though it's
I'm still
legal
so many
here in Massachusetts for medical and recreational, they can still be arrested and whatnot because we have federal contracts, and also, you know, lose their job.
Which I mean, I'm not trying to interrupt anyone, but that right there
go for it.
really fucking sucks. Because there is medical benefits to marijuana, just like there is medical benefits to the medications that Big Pharma makes. I mean, really, in my personal opinion, the best way for this to all completely work out and to probably get it legalized on a federal level is if Big Pharma will work with the marijuana growers to possibly try to come out with some form of medicine for everyone to be able to take. That would
The problem is Big Pharma is a business, and when there's the ability for a small business to replicate the same quality of product, that big business loses its value. So they're not capable of doing it, because you can go in your backyard, plant a seed, and if you're smart enough, grow just as good a weed as they do.
Well, this is definitely a topic. Sorry, I'm going to cut in, guys. This is definitely one of the big kind of hot topics, but it takes a wee bit away from the depression conversation. I'm going to bring it right.
I mean, I have used it to kind of help rebalance myself. If you're in a state where it's illegal, I do not recommend use of it.
I do.
No, because you'll probably if you get in trouble with the authorities, I don't think we can advocate that on a stream like this.
Don't tell nobody.
Yeah, please be safe.
Please be smart, make good choices, and don't get arrested, please. We don't really want anybody to get arrested from watching this.
Yeah, don't get arrested. Don't get caught.
Guys, we are coming round to the end of our show. We've got about 15 minutes or so left. So I have said to everybody before, Uchimari, Yor, and Luna are going to be also involved in this, so you're going to have to think a little bit quickly, but I'll give you a bit of time to get there. So at the end of each show, what I do is I ask people a couple of questions. So a take-home message from yourself from having this discussion today. So something you feel that resonates with you, a point, maybe something somebody said, anything that you feel that you can take home from this conversation today. The second point I want to ask you guys to think about is something that you could advise maybe other people who are going through the similar type of things that you guys have gone through, okay, and a piece of advice that you could maybe impart on them with to try and make the ride a little bit easier for them. And finally, because there's so many people here, I'm only wanting one shout out each and why you should give that shout out. And we'll do one at a time as we go around. So Hellfather, you're free to start first, man.
The biggest point, and I know this is one probably for everybody, I'm about to take everybody's thing, is no matter how many times we do this, like, for some reason there's some point, there's some shock factor in how much of what you're mentally dealing with and like what you're preparing to talk about, you hear somebody else say. And it's just like, shit, man, like, I know that's serious for me, and we may, you know, we may be wearing different shoes, but it sounds like we walk in the same mile.
Yeah.
So that's always a thing. In terms of advice, I'm gonna steal another one from everybody. Reach out. Do please, for God's sake, reach out. Have if you call it weakness, if you call it strength, call it whatever the hell you want. For real. Have your moment, whatever it is, your moment of strength, your moment of weakness, where you reach out, because it'll be the best thing you did. And if it doesn't work the first time, don't be scared to reach out a second time. Some people are assholes. I mean, you can't forget that in amidst your stuff, is that some people just suck. Everybody isn't the right person to reach out to.
Guys, you can also, I'm not going to say you have to come up with a different one each. You can use the same thing if that resonates with you. You can do. Just saying, I know there's a lot of people here, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to get through to everybody and hear everything on point. And I will invite each and every one of you back at some point in the future. But yeah, you can also jump on the points. Okay, so who you shouting out, Hellfather? And you can write it in as well, and let them know, or even have like a drop a Twitch.
I'm popping it on the screen. So the person I've been watching a little bit lately is Miss Shell Dorado. She's a member of one of our groups. She's not RSSG. Is she RSSG? I don't remember. I'm in a lot of these things. She's really cool. We rated her the other day after our Meet the Elite thing, didn't we? I want to say, maybe? Or was it Trench? I don't remember who we rated.
I thought we rated Redbeard.
Probably. We just ended up over there. But anyway, I've been watching her a lot. She's got a really great personality. She's really, really funny, lively person. Very engaging. She usually has somebody with her that they have good banter, which is always nice. I just like finding people that engage and are very about talking with stuff, and she's always been a cool person. She's come into my channel quite a few times, and shown face and out for a bit and talked on some subjects that we always talk on like this. So yeah, she's definitely a cool one. Check her out.
Do you mind dropping that name on my chat as well, Hellfather?
Gotcha.
Is that okay? Okay, Trench, your turn. Take home point, what you would advise for somebody else in your position, and also a name you want to drop.
All right, take home point is, I'm going to state the obvious here. You are not alone. All right, that's pretty much it. The take home point from all this is you are not alone. There's a lot of us going through this stuff. Now, the advice I have to give: depression has a stigma already to be something negative. I've been dealing with this stuff for a very, very long time. I mean, I'm practically born with this shit. I find strength in it. Accept it. It's part of you, unfortunately, but accept it. And it will make you stronger. When somebody comes up to you and you see the success in their life and you think, man, how am I going to get there? I'm not good enough. I got to say, every day when you suffer from depression, I don't want to even say the word suffer, but when you deal with depression, there's so many obstacles you go through every goddamn day. Every day. Be proud of making it to the next. Be proud, man. Like, you are strong. I promise you, you will discover so much strength you didn't even realize you had.
One break at a time, man.
Yeah, man. And shout out here. Ah, man, Jesus. I've been rated so many times, so many names pop up. But if I ever got $1 million, $1 billion, I'd pay for goddamn Dudar singing lessons. Shout out to him. Dudar, work on your singing, brother. I will pay. I will pay. Top notch. Get your freaking vocal cords up there.
I
Nah,
got
but
you covered on this one. Don't worry, I got you covered on this one.
Thank you, brother. But yeah, that's what I got. But yeah, I care about every single one of you who go through this because I know how it feels. Stay strong out there.
So Dudar's on
you
there as
beat
well,
me.
guys. You
Oh,
should check him out.
shit.
Oh yeah, Mob's getting good.
Oh.
Who cares? You're up, buddy.
Okay. My takeaway, I guess, would be not to put too much expectation on myself.
Okay.
Literally, what Trent was just saying about the fact that we literally deal with this every day and we find new ways to like come up on top and make us stronger shows how strong we really are. And so just to keep up with that mindset, and even when you're not feeling like your best self, just to tell yourself that you're stronger than this, that you are better than this and you can conquer it. It's my takeaway. My
All right.
message is gonna be very similar to Hellfire's, which is therapy. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. I cannot tell you how many times I've sat and literally cried my eyes out because I felt like I was alone and anybody to talk to. When really all I had to do was pick up my phone and go, "Hey, I'm feeling some type of way. Can I talk to you? Can you listen?"
Mhm.
So, yeah, just talk to somebody. There's
Okay.
always people willing to listen and give you advice, or just, I don't know, just talk to somebody. Don't just fester in your depression. It's not a good thing. It's only gonna end up worse. And then my shout out is gonna go to my boo thing, Artica Fix.
How you spell it?
Yep. Hang on.
Me and her and I have developed a little close brother-sister relationship since she joined the Discord. I love talking to her,
You beat
laughing
me
about
to her.
everything. Luna, I love her to death. I really love her to death.
Throw her screen name in there for me if you can.
Yes, y'all, go check her out. Go check her out.
Uh,
Follow her on Twitter also.
Articus Fix. I got you guys
Just
covered.
throw out the screen name. I'll put it up there. I think it's gonna hit you.
Oh, am I in the dark, man? Sorry, buddy.
Oh, look, see, Mop. Damn it.
See, it's the lighting. Sorry, buddy. It was the mood.
It's the
That's
lighting,
what it was.
right?
I was trying.
See, I told him to change his lighting, and now he's a fucking machine.
Oh, I'm getting that. Right. So Articus Fix, she is put on there. Yeah. Okay. Uchimari, your turn, buddy.
So my takeaway from this is, God, I had the train of thought too.
If you want, we can circle back.
I mean, we're definitely not alone in this. Depression hasn't hit me near as hard as most everyone else that I have listened to about this. It seemed like I was able to kind of get myself out of the slump easier than a lot of you guys. I was never actually diagnosed with it or anything like that. I've had depression sit in, and that's about it. So yeah, definitely, you know, we're all in this together. It's how it is. My piece of advice, definitely don't be afraid to talk to someone. And I guess 2 pieces of advice: stay away from toxic people.
Mm-hmm.
Depression and toxic people do not mix.
That's
You
the
know,
damn truth.
if you're in a situation where you're just constantly being put down or made fun of or anything like that, as hard as it may be, try to remove yourself from that situation. Try to find a better outlet, better group. Whenever you find it, everything else will just kind of click into place. As for my shout out, I am going to give a shout out to my sister. It's me, Amy G. I got her started streaming on Twitch. She's currently serving in the Navy.
It's me, Amy G.
Yeah, AIMEE. I'm not on yours. Oh no.
No, I don't think you are, Chimari.
AI.
Hellfather, do you have a link to that?
She is on Underworld Elite.
Okay. If you could
Um,
post that, Hellfather, that'd be great.
but before the Hellfather had even mentioned anything about your guys' talks with mental awareness and all that,
Yeah.
she was already telling me about how bad it was in the Navy, and it's about the same as what Trench was talking about. You're pretty much told to just suck it up, which is not the way that needs to be treated. But I'm gonna go on ahead and just continue on with that. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. Luna, you're up.
How do you spell it? How do you spell it real quick? Hold
So
on.
the biggest thing I would say is it is okay to ask for help. As I typed out and said earlier, it is not weakness to ask for help. I know that's a common thing we hear from people in our lives, from the media, etc. It's definitely okay to ask for help and find someone to talk to. Therapy can be great.
Yeah.
As you've heard from everybody here, it can definitely help you if you're struggling. And that's the biggest thing, is it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely.
And don't let anyone ever let you think otherwise. If someone is telling you that, oh, you're just too weak or you're not big enough to deal with it, that might be a good time to drop that person from your life. As was mentioned, don't be around toxic people. That's don't be around people who tell you you shouldn't be looking for help.
You don't need to tolerate it. Don't feel like you have to.
Yeah, don't be nice. You can just tell them, you know what?
It's okay
Just
to tell
screw
people
off.
to shut
I'm
up.
doing something that's good for me. And then I guess my shout out, seeing Arctic got taken from me.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I expect no apology from you.
I am.
No, you shouldn't be. You should not be sorry. She deserves all the love. I will call out Carnage Plays Stuff, who is an absolute.
Oh, it's mine! Oh, damn you, Luna! Right. Okay,
Well,
I'm putting them in.
You know
I
what?
need to
I'm
think of
glad
another one
that
then.
at least I can steal from someone else's recommendation.
Carnage Play Stuff, guys, was gonna be mine, but shout him out. Shout him out. Get him on
this
there.
is gonna get harder the more we do
I know
it.
it's gonna get harder and harder as time goes on.
Twitch.tv/Card.
Dudar, I got
Carnage.
a couple, or not Dudar, Hellfather, I got a couple people here who are complimenting your beard. Just a heads up.
Hey man, you know you can come hit me up about that beard knowledge. Friendly neighborhood Fable Beard co-rep.
And before you move on, next month, I just want to say what I like to close out my streams with in general. Know that you are loved, you are important, and the world would be a little less bright without you in it. So make sure you take care of yourself.
Amen. Absolute amen to that.
What's Carnage's full screen name?
Carnage
91.
Play Stuff 91. I'll put it on my
I
chat.
can never remember people's numbers. Y'all people with your numbers.
Weedy, you're up, buddy.
I think my biggest takeaway would probably be take a risk with not being okay, and admitting that you're not okay, and be okay with not being okay, and move forward from that. I think, like we've all said, that depression is so stigmatized, mental health in general so stigmatized, and it's only going to continue to do so if nobody talks about it. So talk about it. I think my biggest piece of advice would probably be along
Oh my
this
gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
I don't have time to suck right now.
I think my biggest piece of advice would be probably along the same lines, to be honest. Reach out and talk. Just reach out to someone that you know you can trust, and try to get that help you need. I know, I think it was Zeno mentioned his wife was a big pillar of support for him, similar to me, and just find that pillar for you.
Cool. All right, and who's your shout out?
My shout out, if it's cool, I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat because I already have it ready.
I don't know if it'll allow you, but yeah, go for it. Try it. Give it a shot.
If it doesn't, just put the screen name so I can add it
have
too.
links in
Okay. Okay, yeah. It's gonna be King Pocket 5280. That's a streamer buddy of mine, and he's super dope. He's super into hip hop and loves talking about it. He plays a lot of fun games like Dark Souls and does things like crowd control, which I think is really dope. And he's just all around wholesome dude, and great streams, great fun. So.
Did you say King Pocket 5280?
Yes. Yep, you got it. That's correct.
Oh yeah, I'm getting fast. All right, okay, Zeno, you're up, buddy.
Hold up, before Zeno starts, I gotta say, I gotta get going. We're doing my daughter's graduation from preschool today, so they're doing
no worries, man.
ceremony and all
Thank you
that.
very much.
I already did mine.
Have a lot of fun.
Later, tomorrow.
Alrighty. Yeah, you guys have fun.
Gotcha.
It was nice meeting you, Luna. Same with you. Who cares? And Walrus.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, you too, man.
See you later
Catch
tomorrow.
y'all around.
All right, Zeno, you're up, buddy.
Okay. Well, I want to say that for all of you guys, all of us in general, everybody.
Shit, I didn't mean to do that.
When you're feeling down, you're feeling like you're in the darkness. What?
Sorry,
Dude, I put my own link in his chat on accident.
Hellfather link, Jen. Sorry
I didn't
to cut
mean
you
to.
in there. Please continue, Zemo. Please continue.
Assholes.
We'll get back to the Hellfather being a douche and just being so self-promoting, man. So self-promoting.
Such a douche.
Because mine pops up and I just delete my name and I write the other name into place and I accidentally pressed it twice. Okay. Damn it.
And another man's stream as well.
You son of a monkey's ass.
All right, Zemo, please continue.
Everybody that goes through depression along with us, and I want to say for not just me, for all of you guys that are in the chat right now, and for those who are watching all of your guys' streams. Whenever you guys are feeling down and in the darkness, just remember, you're in the darkness because you're being planted. All right? And whenever we're being planted, we have to grow somehow, some way. Okay? So if you learn from your darkness, and you're gonna grow out of it. And like every single plant, when you plant a plant, you gotta get replanted somewhere else. So you're gonna end up back in that darkness again. But you learn from the first time. So if you just learn from the first time you're in the darkness and to take it as if you're growing, you're being seeded, you're being planted, and you're being replanted. It should give you some kind of encouragement not to discourage yourself. You know?
Absolutely, buddy. I totally agree.
We're all humans.
Keep on going.
We all live, we all learn,
it
and we all love, okay? So you're a plant. I love all of you guys. I love all of you guys as fans. You know, I love all my fans. Thank you for everybody who stopped in, and thank you, Hellfather, for basically helping with everything, bro. Like I owe you a lot of things, bro. Okay.
Oh, and work, man. All I did was give you
Mopintop. Yeah, bro. And Mopintop, thank you for what you're doing for us, man.
Oh man, dude, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
And
who are you gonna shout out, buddy?
The one I'm gonna shout out today, I've been watching his stuff and he actually makes me happy. Like he's awesome.
Go for
His name is The Raven Armed. Okay.
The Raven Armed.
Yes.
Spelled in.
I'm gonna get Hellfather to do that one just because I'm gonna jump in after you and give my kind of closing part before we do a raid.
How did you spell that one?
It's you in your chat, bro. And the reason why I like him and the reason why I'm going to shout him out is because he has the persona of Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay? And if you guys watch his stuff, if you guys watch his stuff, it's amazing. He has it's just awesome. It's amazing. It's super entertaining. and I believe a lot of people can learn from that person as well. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like just the
Absolutely.
way everything he does, like it's awesome. So he made me happy, and he actually made my son extremely happy when he actually shouted out for my son on live stream, and he sang for my son because
gotta
my
get it.
son loves Captain Jack Sparrow, and I told him that, and he just sang for my son. Like he, out of everybody that was there, he had thousands of viewers, and he sang for my son. It
That's
made
awesome.
me happy, and it made my little boy happy. So yeah, that's why I'm shouting that man out.
I'm actually, this room is getting really dark. You know what? Fu was probably right. I'm going to put the lighter on. Hang on 1 wee second.
Right, your lighting started out so improved.
It was so nice.
Right, your
Oh,
lighting.
right, okay.
Your lighting
That's
started
getting a
out
bit
so
better.
fantastic.
Yeah, it started, but it got bad at the end. Sorry.
Started like
Okay.
Evan, bro.
All right, guys.
Slowly-
My last part for this. Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that was taking part today. Luna, I'm sorry I didn't put your name on the intro, but I am gonna just jump it into the chat just now because you do deserve a jump in from there.
Because I was
when we
late to the
speak.
party.
No, I know, but it was good. It's for everybody that jumps in. I'm definitely giving them a shout out because.
What are you talking about?
Better late than never.
Vulpes Luna, where are you?
Is it the same?
Where are you?
Is it just Vulpes
Should be
Luna
about.
as well?
Yeah, Vulpes Luna. That's us.
No
We
numbers?
have. I don't think so. We like numbers, don't we?
No.
We're a big fan
No,
of the
we
numbers.
don't.
I do
Everybody
not have
always wanna
numbers.
call me when I'm doing stuff.
So I'm just adding her because on the start page at the very beginning of the screen we actually had everybody's names on there. So if you're looking to tune into any of the people that have been on with me today, then just go to the start screen at the very beginning, and that has all of our names. They are all fantastic individuals. They all play fantastic games. Hellfather does great things with his servers and Ark. You've got Valheim as well. In fact, are you doing the Valheim one, Stu?
That's up in the air. We need more than you and me.
Okay.
Oh, I'm down. I'm down, brother.
Okay,
Yeah, we
Trench
just-
is
we
now
just
down. We
have
got
problems.
three. We got
Wait, what
three.
about Valheim?
I'm down.
I don't have that game, or else I'd play it with y'all.
Trench, I saw you playing Darkest Dungeon the other night. That was awesome. Thanks for letting me chill in the stream. Who cares? You were on one of my favorite games, Mass Effect, that I just wish I had the time to play. I really do. Luna, I love the fact that you do the trauma train. I am addicted to that stuff. Walrus, I think I've tuned into a couple of your shows, but I haven't been able to stay a long time, so I will come back and see it in. And Zeno, I still need to see some of your stuff, bro, but I will do so eventually. But I am going to say my shout out for today, and actually the person that I think I'm going to do a raid for tonight is I'm going to try and say this name and say it as best I can. Trina Chakrabarti Music. Okay, I've only seen her the one, but she has done very, very well so far. I think she's just made affiliate, and I also think she takes requests for music. So we're gonna do a raid, and how do I do that again, Hellfather?
//
raid.
Base and then a person's screen
I'm
name.
gonna peace out,
But
y'all,
tell me
'cause I'm
their
gonna go
regular
start,
screen name too.
My stream also.
Trina,
Thank you
I think it's
for
just Trina.
having me.
Oh,
Have a good
dude,
one,
no
who
worries,
cares?
no worries.
No
Thank
worries.
you for being a part of this, guys,
I'm
tonight.
actually glad that I got to talk to y'all. I feel a lot better.
Hey, who cares? It was really nice to meet you, brother. Really nice to meet you.
Talking to you, man.
It was
Yo,
nice
you-
meeting
who
you,
cares?
Hellfather. It's nice meeting
Definitely.
you,
Good seeing
Zeno.
you again, man.
Hey,
I
just
will
know that
definitely be
you're a
dropping
very
by to check
beautiful
y'all out
person.
sometime.
Hey, who cares? Just know that you're a very beautiful person, and it's an honor for all of us to be here with you.
Guys, thank you very much for joining in. I'm gonna push the button on
Right,
this one,
guys,
and
we are
hopefully it
going
will
to
do what
start
I'm hoping
our
it's going to
raid
do, and then I'm going to fire up
over
the
there
resources
as well.
for people to get involved
I'm gonna
with
shoot them,
with
shoot
any
you
kind of
guys
professional
that
help
way.
if
So
they're
I'm gonna hit
needing it.
that raid,
Okay.
and I will be back
Bye.
on playing something a
Put
little
that
bit later.
name,
But
so
I'm gonna
I
get
mean,
some
I'm
stuff
gonna
done
go raid
around the
them
house,
too.
so I
So
will
I-
be
Yep.
back.
I mean, if all of
I'm
us
going to
can-
put it up just now.
Oh yeah. May I?
You guys have a good
Where are you
rest
putting
of
the
your
name
day.
at?
Can you
I'm
put
gonna
it
check
in
this person
mine?
out.
Or her?
Hang on, I'm going to go resources, guys. If anybody needs this, resources are up here. Okay, we are going to be leaving in a minute. So again, I want to say thank you everybody for joining.